Hello again, viewers. Please like and subscribe to my channel where I use the Chinese horoscope to read the cards of each sign and hopefully give some insight into the decan that we're in. I'm going to try to do all 12 every 10 days. I don't know how that's going to work, but I don't know, maybe with enough positive vibes, send me positive vibes, send me efficient vibes. But right now I'm going to do the my sign. I was born under the year of the goat. So for those of you or your grandparents, if they were born in 1931, 1943, 1955, 1967, 1979, 1991, 2003, 2015, and then the year of the goat will come back in 2027. So the goat is yang. The goat is the 8th sign of the Chinese horoscope. Goats have the following characteristics: invention, sensitivity, perseverance, whimsy, good manners, and taste. Goat sins may include parasitism, lack of foresight, tardiness, pessimism, impracticality, and worry. All right. Parasitism. It's funny. Me trying to make money off of the internet. No, it's not parasitic at all. So I'm using a different deck. I'm using my Native American deck, so I'm going to have to be going through the book a little bit more, but it may give better insight to my readings. So, but it's just that this deck does not have any Rider-Waite-Smith symbols in it. It's all about the kind of animal and the kind of plant growth that is in it. So it would symbolize the same thing as the Rider-Waite symbolism does. So it's very, very interesting, and I'm really excited about using it because I want to grow my natural knowledge about plants and animals and their symbolism, and especially in the First Nations way, because my First Nation, I belong to the Wiyot Nation, and they're a part of the larger Yurok Nation, which is in Northwest California. So, there are very few Wiyot tribe members left because they were one of the most successfully decimated cultures. They waited for the men to go do the spiritual thing on the island, and they killed all of the women and children that were left on the bay. So apparently there was one female baby left over, and it was my great aunt, supposedly, right? But that would be cool, huh? I mean, she's got to be somebody's great aunt. But anyways, I feel like I carry a lot of ancestral anger, and just like I have a lot of, I'm very sensitive. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but I am a goat, so I'm interested in what this will have to say. And I don't think that I want to do a Celtic cross spread. I think I want to do something different. The way. This is called The Way. The first card. This is what it's all about. These are the opportunities and the risks interrelated in relation to the question. So I guess the question is how best can the goats use all of their faculties, their creative, their intellectual, their tangible, and their emotional, their those faculties. How can we use that to find our way through life? So the Queen of Cups, it is very interesting. If you can see, there's a couple of insects, and then a calla lily, along with another. Oh, it's right here. So I'm so excited to see this. The Cups Queen. Queen of Cups rules the watery kingdom of emotions. Because water and emotional energies are feminine in nature, this is the cornerstone of the suit of cups. This queen is a deep soul of inner strength. She is sensitive, compassionate, empathetic, intuitive, comforting to others, and serene. She is always aware of her emotions and the role they play in the path to spirit. She manifests it from a high state, whether her awareness blends conscious action with unconscious action and with unconscious thought. Loving and nurturing, she exemplifies the way to express divine love and embrace others from the heart. So, I guess for this weekend, it's about how can us goats embrace others from a Queen of Cups type of way, from sensitive, compassionate, empathetic, intuitive, comforting, and serene ways. How can we be aware of our emotions and the role they play in the path to spirit? How can we manifest from a high state where our awareness blends conscious action with unconscious thought? How can loving and nurturing exemplify the way to express divine love and embrace others from the heart? Because I, as a goat, I know I have a hard time embracing others. Going through what I've been through, I'd rather be alone than have potential friends that will stab me in the back, or, relationships where people tend to disappoint me. I'm going through a lot myself right now with relationships, and I wonder if any other goats are as well. The left column, your behavior up to present. So we have the Nine of Swords, the Ace of Swords reversed, and the Five of Pentacles upright. So the Nine of Swords is the conscious attitudes, thoughts, rational grounds, ideas, intentions, and modes of behavior which the questioner is aware, rational behavior. So this is the behavior we're aware of. And the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords speaks of the great inner despair that leads to the awakening. The character is embroiled in self-pity, denial, disillusionment, and suffering. Wow. Talk about calling somebody out. The Nine of Swords calls for us to arouse the personality from its long-held beliefs. We are often aware of these limiting beliefs, but have refused to do anything about them. Now is the time to decide to stop sitting in sorrow and stop playing the victim. We can recognize our denial and face those aspects of ourselves that are limiting us. We can realize our bondage and wake up from our long sleep. This is the promising news. The swords are all aligned and pointing eastward towards the rising sun, like the dawning of the day and awakening to the new fresh morning. The Widow Skimmer Dragonfly, which is on the card, I guess, on the bottom. The large family of dragonflies known as skimmers. Skimmers are distinguished by brightly colored bodies and wings with bands or spots. Their wings are also generally shorter than other types of dragonflies. Widow skimmers have dark bodies with yellow stripes. Their clear wings are distinctively marked with large smoky colored bands. They are slow-flying dragonflies that inhabit the small ponds, lakes, and marshes of North America. In the Nine of Swords, the dragonfly represents our great potential for change. Dragonflies live in the mental realm of the air. They challenge the rigid thought patterns and prompt the energy of change, just like the swords are part of the intellectual body. The shimmering wings of the dragonfly represent the power of light. The dragonfly suggests that with commitment to awakening, we too will shine with our own true colors. As we contemplate the Nine of Swords, let us imagine freeing this spirit guide, the dragonfly, from its bondage. Belladonna is also in this. Belladonna is commonly known as deadly nightshade. Its botanical name was derived from Greek mythology. Its name was taken from one of the three fates, Atropos, who cuts the thread of life, just as deadly nightshade would do if ingested. The leaves and berries are extremely toxic. The name Belladonna comes from the Italian and means fair lady. In the past, it was used by Italian women to make eye drops because it enlarged the pupils and made their eyes appear more beautiful. Symbolically, belladonna represents both falsehood and the ability to recognize bitter truths. So, if goats are feeling lonely, then we have to recognize our part in the loneliness, and the walls that we've put up that are not necessarily good for us, that keep people away, that keep us from getting what we want, which is community and a place to belong. The Ace of Swords is the third, unconscious attitudes, wishes, longings, which the questioner has in his or her heart, hopes and fears, emotional behavior. So the Ace of Swords. The swords are very direct and focused. This is obviously immediately with the ace. The sword is very penetrating. Sword is a penetrating energy, exemplifying mental clarity, cutting through the personality to discover truth. This challenge requires that we take a strong position of individuality. It also requires the use of great focus and concentration. Wishes, longings. We long to take a strong position of individuality. The Ace of Swords represents awakening to our intellect and mental abilities. It also expresses the inner discipline we must develop. That's what we really want, the inner discipline to develop intellectual growth. Penetrating the meaning of the swords, we will grow to a new level of focused energy and develop vision and clarity. The Ace of Swords invites us to step out of life's illusions. We know that we're living in a state of illusion. So this is our invitation to step out of it. So this is what this looks like. And I guess the Eastern Diamondback Rattlesnake is the snake that's in it. The Eastern Diamondback Rattlesnake is the largest venomous snake in North America, sometimes reaching 8 feet in length. They are brown in color with black diamond-shaped scale patterns. This is extremely dangerous rattlesnake found in southeastern United States and it inhabits pine forests and open farmlands. Individuals can live more than 20 years. Populations are declining due to hunting and habitat loss. For our swords, artistic liberty has been taken with its color, and the snake is presented as indigo with black and diamond patterns. Indigo is the deep, divine color of the midnight sky. It has long been associated with great powers of perception of the higher mind. During meditation, introspection is considered the symbolic color of self-mastery. This is what we're secretly wishing. Indigo is also associated with third eye chakra. The energy center between the eyes deals with intelligence and psychic power. The snake has always been a universal symbol of the quest to unveil the sacred mysteries. It is symbolic of inner creative forces that allow us access to our vitality, ambitions, and dreams. It is also associated with personal power and intellectual growth. The Indian lotus is also on this. The Indian lotus is also known as the sacred lotus. The flowering aquatic plant is a perennial popular in water gardens. It is the national flower of both India and Vietnam. An individual lotus plant can live for more than 1,000 years. The seeds are also viable for over 1,000 years, and recently a 1,300-year-old seed was germinated successfully. The seeds, small leaves, and rhizomes are all edible and highly prized in Asian cuisine. The opening of the exotic lotus flower has long been symbolic of the awakening mind. It also symbolizes creation, purity, and wisdom. The petals open with the sun and close at sunset, guiding us to focus our attention and rhythms of life and beckoning us to activate our inner attunement with nature. These are our unconscious attitudes, wishes, longings, and that we have in our heart, our hopes and our fears, our emotional behavior. Don't forget that. The Mexican hat, also known as the prairie cornflower, is native to the Midwestern region of the United States, but is naturalized throughout North America. It was named because of the colorful flower heads, resembles traditional broad-brimmed sombreros. The drought-tolerant plant loves full sun and is a favorite nectar for bees and butterflies. Symbolic meaning for this robust plant include accomplishment, strength, and capability. Cinnabar. The snake is perched on a red crystalline rock called cinnabar, the principal of mercury. Cinnabar is an abundant mineral. Energetically, it is considered of great value because it aids in the process of self-evaluation. It is deemed to have a positive nature and is beneficial and protective. Wow. The Five of Pentacles. Outward attitudes. How the questioner appears to his or her surroundings, perhaps also his or her facade. The Five of Pentacles is wrapped in woe. These characters are lost in their despair. They fail to see the luminous church window right beside them, offering opportunities for renewal and positive change. The lighted window is a beacon. It is there to remind us to seek the light within and to stop relying on the material world for our fulfillment. The Five of Pentacles prompts us to stop seeking pity and sympathy and dwelling on our troubles. Rather, it heralds a call for us to turn our gaze from the outer world. Though attention and focus in our inner potential, we can overcome our outworn desperation and misery. We can awaken to the promise of indwelling spirit, which is the master of all manifestation. Call me out. What? Outward attitudes. How the questioner appears to his or her surroundings. Despair when abundance is right next to us. Red-breasted newthratch, Sitta canadensis. The red-breasted newthratch is a small acrobatic bird that makes its home in the northern subalpine forests of North America. Its abbreviated, high-pitched call is often compared to a toy tin horn. This little red-breasted, bluish-gray bird nests in deadwood and lives on a diet of insects and seeds. When watching the nuthatch in its forest habitat or at feeders, we will often see it foraging upside down. This ability has led to its most important and symbolic meaning, which is the capacity to view things with a new, fresh, and conventional perspective. This special power suggests what we should do when the Five of Pentacles appears. Look at things from a new perspective. The nuthatch is a symbol of bravery and reminds us that it is time to take courage, be sharp, and aware of new solutions within our trench. The nuthatch represents the mental, emotional rebuilding because this little bird is a master of the spiritual quest. The source of this meaning is demonstrated by its amazing ingenuity as it climbs up, down, and around tree trunks, branches, twigs. Remarkable, it even walks on the underside of these limbs. This nuthatch tells us it's time to look at our life in a new way. The garden snowdrop is a small flower that emerges in late winter, sometimes right through the snow. It is the first flower to appear each year, even before the crocus, and in southern climates, it often grows all winter long. The garden snowdrop is native to most Europe, and most has been introduced and naturalized everywhere. The flower looks like the drops of milk hanging from a stem, which has probably led to its Latin name, galanthus, meaning milk-white flower. Symbolic meanings for this beautiful, delicate flower include consolation, hope, expectancy, and faith in times of adversity. Our outward attitudes, our facades. I'm going to think about that. I've got to pee. So this has been a long reading. All right, I have returned. So now we're dealing with right column. Suggestions for future behavior. The interpretation corresponds to fields 2 through 4. So 7, which is the 10 of Wands. This woodpecker holding those wands, which are crystals, all greedily. Conscious attitude. Suggestion for a rational mode of action. Let's see, what is the 10 of Wands? all about in here. A burdened down figure, a warning against making oh, wait, no. The Ten of Wands is oriented to the right, which indicates moving towards the future. The wands are bundled together, clutched tightly, and represent our collected mental and spiritual possession. We have integrated a great deal in our journey through the wands. Now we are becoming aware that with the knowledge and inner wisdom comes responsibility. It is possible that we could be overburdened by the labors of our higher work, and this card may indicate being overextended in our present position. But with persistence and determination and willingness to release our treasures into the world for a higher good, we will achieve any goals and complete any task. And this was the way, our conscious attitude, suggestion for rational mode of action. Rational mode of action. The pleated, here, I'm going to show you what the pileated woodpecker is the largest of all North American woodpeckers, and it ranges across the continent. It eats mostly insects with its powerful beak. Woodpeckers and keep forests healthy by controlling the carpenter ants and beetles that are destructive to many tree species. Additionally, these large cavities made for both foraging and nesting are later used as nesting sites for many songbirds and other forest dwellers. The woodpecker has an important ecological role and is vital to the well-being of the forest and other birds. With all that daily hammering into rotten trees, it is no wonder that the woodpecker symbolizes persistence and determination. This hammering can also represent digging deeply to uncover inner layers of our psyche, the work that we have been about with the suit of wands. The woodpecker symbolizes great balance, stability, inner strength, and leaning to honor the sacred within all life. Symbolically, the woodpecker is busy with divine work. And that's conscious attitude, the suggestion for a rational mode of action. And it, corresponds to the Nine of Wands, the conscious attitude, the thoughts, rational grounds, ideas, intentions, modes of behavior, which this questioner is aware, rational behavior. Just remember inner despair that leads to, so this corresponds, the 10 of Wands, divine work, persistence, determination. Symbolically, the fir tree on the 10 of Wands represents achieving great heights and far-sightedness. It provides us with clear vision of that which is yet to come. The lofty presence of the fir also symbolizes clarity, achievement, strength, resilience, and determination. We can learn a great deal from connecting with this mighty tree. And that corresponds to our second card, the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords speaks to the great inner despair that leads to self-awakening. So it's perfect. It's the end of the despair and the beginning of the awakening. Interesting. Okay, the Seven of Cups, which corresponds to the Ace of Swords on the other side of the this thing. So that is 7. 7 of Cups, representing a world of choices. The 7 of Cups, and it also means unconscious attitudes, suggestion for one's emotional orientation. Representing a world of choices, the 7 of Cups is a card of potential. On one level, this card may reflect the many aspects of our personality that have developed over our lifetime. These are aspects of ourselves that we must examine closely and more fully understand to more fully understand our nature and to flourish in life. On a deeper level, this card is asking us to realize that we are the masters of our own reality, with infinite possibilities within our reach. We should carefully consider the questions that are posed by the 7 of Cups. With all of the riches presented in the world of form, which are distractions and which are of true value, how will we choose how will we choose what we express in the world? Will we choose from the heart or from the desires of the ego? So this is suggesting that as we are in this death cycle of killing this poor me vision of ourselves and growing into this capable version, this card is reminding us to choose from the heart and not the desires of the ego. So do what's right. Don't do things for the quick turnaround or whatever. The long term goal is what we're looking at, not quick rewards. The pink-tongued skink is a lizard from Australia, land of the Aboriginal Dreamtime. The lizard dwells with humid coastlines along the eastern part of the continent, favoring wet environments such as the rainforests. It is also commonly seen in suburban areas with well-watered gardens and rockeries. The lizard is the master of the Dreamtime, a place where consciousness, where Australian Aboriginal believe primordial life exists, expands, and emanates to the earth and creates our reality. Dreams are powerful allies that connect our subconscious and can even reveal things about which we are unaware. Dreams relate to our innermost aspects and motivations and emotions. By observing their messages and applying them to our daily lives, dreams can bring clarity of mind, which will help us make the right choices in life. The lizard represents extremely sensitive perceptive skills. All of the lizard's senses are acute. Its hearing is excellent. Its eyes are sharply aware of any movements. It can see vibrations in the ground that are imperceptible to almost all other creatures. The lizard reminds us to seek out our inner vision and explore our subconscious hopes and fears. It is our guide to releasing the attachments of the ego so that we can see more clearly what motivates our choices. So this is suggesting that we seek our inner wisdom and explore our subconscious hopes and fears, our guide to releasing the attachments of the ego, so we more clearly see what motivates our choices. So the ego has been brought up multiple times. So goats, just be very wary of making decisions based out of what your ego wants versus what you know is good for yourself. I think that's going to be one of the main themes that, we can't all be going through the same exact situation, but I think that's one of the main themes that all of us are dealing with in our life. The common plants in the 7 cups. Listed here are the myriad plants overflowing in the 7 cups. So the 7 of Cups, this is actually closer to the Rider-Waite than anything else I've seen. There's always cups overflowing with different kind of riches. One's coins, one's like women, whatever. Listed here are the myriad plants overflowing the 7 cups. These are all familiar plants to most of us. The symbolism and the riches they represent are meaningful aspects for us to ponder as we dream of life into manifestation. The Seven of Cups is a very positive card. As we examine the opportunities presented by this card, remember that this is up to us to determine what flows into our lives. Clockwise from the upper left corner, cherry blossom, prunus, representing spring, alluring fragrance, and the beauty of life well lived. The walnut, Juglandicae, Junglandicae is a symbol of wisdom, the intellect, and other qualities of the fine mind. Pears, Pyrus communis, are symbols of love and affection. Nasturtium, Trapolium majus, represents success and victory in any endeavor. Wheat, Triticum aestivum, represents wealth and prosperity. Corn, Zamais, always signifies abundance. In the center, the dandelion, Taraxacum officinalis, symbolizes the oracle, which is our connection to the inspiring divine impulse. All of the cups filled with nature's bounty represent the best of life's choices. These possibilities are ever present for us to choose and embrace. And that is our answer to the unconscious attitudes in the left column, wishes, longings, hopes, which was the Ace of Swords. So, our unconscious attitudes are that we want to awaken our mind to a more pure understanding of what this world is. And the card 6, which is, associated with the card 3, the unconscious attitude suggestion for one's emotional orientation is the 7 of Cups, and that's the cup of that's the cup of all the riches in the world. So So I guess it's just as we want to open our mind, just be aware and don't be tempted by the riches and wealth of humanity. Know that we have everything we need, and we need everything we have, and God will provide for us, just like He does the birds of the sky and the beasts of the earth. As if we stay on this track to really open our minds and to become enlightened, then we don't have to worry about clutching onto worldly goods. We already have them. And then this 8 of Cups goes along with the 5 of dis or what Pentacles. Okay. It's 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups draws attention to our journey of personal growth as we move through life. It reminds us that as we mature and evolve, our progression toward higher awareness is marked by stages. It takes wisdom, inspiration, and good instincts to know when to stop and reflect on our accomplishments. This card represents outward attitude. Show how the questioner should present him or herself to the world.
Always keep in mind that the most important aspect of the journey is deepening and enriching our spirit. So it is important that we are so deeply and boldly focused on truth that we can't help but emit it. That's how we will look to the outer world, is just as somebody that is just focused on learning truths and divine awakenings, etc. The Eight of Cups beckons us to come back to our spiritual roots. It encourages us to take the time to observe the progress we have made in life and honor our efforts before we proceed. By doing so, we develop a larger vision of life, evolving through cycles of growth and movement. Personal reflection will deepen our trust in a process that will carry us forward to new and positive experiences. The Chinook salmon.
That's what the card looks like.
Also known as king salmon, the Chinook is the largest species of the Pacific salmon. The word salmon is derived from the Latin word salmo, which means to leap. Salmon are great travelers. They are born into fresh water, migrate to the ocean, and later in life are returned to fresh water to breed and complete their life cycle. This amazing journey has spawned a great deal of symbolic meaning related to the salmon. The salmon helps us to see the importance of understanding life. With its cycles and completion as a journey, it illustrates the ability to know when to move on to the next phase of our story. Life is filled with change, and it's good to understand that change is a necessary part of our spiritual growth. The salmon symbolizes persevering, moving forward towards one's destiny while always trusting the unknown. It epitomizes the surrender of the spiritual mystery of life. So that has to be our outward attitude, complete surrender to the spiritual mystery of life. And then the sweet pea. The sweet pea rambles over the trellises and arbors, adding great splash of color to any garden. Perhaps it is this traveling nature that has led to its symbolic meaning of departure. The salmon carries the sweet pea as a reminder to us that one cycle ends, a new one begins. We should always acknowledge the things we have completed. As we move on to new experiences, we carry with us our accomplishments. These are as building blocks for the next stage of our journey. I'm sorry, but that was an extremely profound reading for me. Please like and subscribe. That's the end of the goat reading. Thank you for watching.